On a day like today, the only thing I can think to say is TGIF. Thank God it's Friday. And you know what Fridays mean? They mean the preview show. Hello and welcome along to this week's Friday preview show. Glad I managed to get my head around that one. Where we'll be looking ahead to a trip to struggling Shrewsbury or Shrewsbury, whatever you prefer. Caspell, are you more of a Shrews or Shrows kind of guy?
Shrows, mate. Received English. Received English. I was about to say received.
Ironic, isn't it?
Oh my god. Received English over here is what I was going to say. So, and I think that dictates like things like scone, Shrewsbury. What else? What else
Grass.
is debatable? Should we grass? Well, to be honest, I got my wife grew up in Lancashire, so we've got this all the time at home with Sylvie. It's like real tug of war over.
Is it a north and southern thing with Shrews? Yeah.
I think there is a bit of a north-south. I think there is a north-south flavour to Shrewsbury.
I think I say Shrewsbury, but I definitely say scone.
But you're from the north of Italy. So that makes complete sense, right?
Which means I say dolmio.
Yeah, that's it, yeah. That's right.
Yeah, great. Well, it's good way to start the pod. How are you, mate?
Yeah, man. I'm good. So excited for Shrewsbury away.
This running order is hilarious. The Ver2 versus Luton.
Yeah.
A preview of Shrewsbury away.
I love the Ver2, mate.
I hope you've got a good half hour on me for the Ver2.
Just needed one word on the running order, mate. Just Nascimento.
I know.
You get half an hour out of me in that. Easy.
Well, when I saw his goal on Tuesday, I looked at the schedule for who was on the preview with me on Thursday, and I was pretty pleased to see it was you, because that's like divine intervention that you're the man who gets to speak about
banging that drum for years, mate. Yeah. Years and years. Finally, everyone's waking up.
You were on the LinkedIn page. What was that about?
Yeah.
LinkedIn. What was that about?
He's got his weird like Top Gun beach scene style LinkedIn photos where it's all him playing football topless, if you know what I mean. Pretty sure in the photos he's at best 14 years old as well. So it's pretty sketch all around, really.
I think we should move swiftly on. We've got some good news for coconut tier subscribers, as well as all the quality content that we give you. Obviously on the website there's loads of stuff. There's Ben's stats articles, as per, at least one of those per week. You get the previews written by Ben as well. You've also got a great piece that Owen wrote last night on Martin Butler's shirt from Wrexham away in the FA Cup, which is well worth a go. All of that on the website under theabbeystand.com. You're going to get some extra pods this month, but also what you're going to get is we've got the opportunity to do a ticket giveaway, specifically a hospitality ticket giveaway, thanks to our friends at Cladara. So we're giving away 2 hospitality tickets for Grimsby at home on the 4th of Jan. We're going to draw the lucky winners in November. All you've got to do is be signed up to the Coconut tier before the end of October to be in the draw. And it will be done at random. We'll pick one subscriber and we'll email you with your 2 tickets for Grimsby at home, hospitality tickets. Have you done it before, Caspell? Were you there with us last year? No, you weren't. You didn't get the call.
Didn't get the invite, yeah. Not allowed.
Maybe you can win if you come out of the hat.
Bit sus, isn't it?
Tiny bit sus.
The winners are me and Tom Walker.
Yeah.
Jobs for the boys. No, mate, I didn't do the Cladara hosted event that you did, but I am hugely passionate about rationalizing subscription costs using a SaaS platform like Cladara. So
correct, yeah, thanks. Yeah,
great.
Yeah,
that's great. Great plug.
That is what it is.
Plug.
But look. I mean, I'll put it this way: I won't reveal how many subscribers we've got. It's a good number, but you've still got a good chance of winning.
It's winnable, isn't it?
It's very winnable.
It's winnable, yeah. It's not like the national lottery, is it?
No, exactly. You've got a good chance of winning.
Your odds are good.
And look, put it this way, just after New Year's, after the Christmas break, what a lovely way to enter the new year than going with a close one, a friend, a relative, free food. Don't think it's free drinks from what I remember, but still, it's a lovely day and you've got great seats in the main stand. So yeah, basically, sign up to the Coconut tier if you haven't already, anytime in October to be in the draw, and obviously get all the fantastic content as well that we've given to our Coconut tier members.
We're gonna do the draw like live on a pod.
Great idea.
Do a real-time live draw.
But in
November.
That's also a great way to fill a preview show where, like this one, we've not got a lot to say.
Mate, I've got tons to talk about Shrewsbury. Loads.
Thursday the 6th preview show. Let's do a live reveal. How about that?
Yeah. You're gonna need to fire up some music for the edit. You know, some like dramatic
Yeah, let's get in even more copyright trouble.
let's let's.
Okay, come on. You've got loads to talk about.
Mm.
Vertu, Luton at home, 3-1 win. Did you watch the game?
No.
Yeah, neither did I.
No, mate, I didn't. I watched the highlights.
Yeah, I watched the goals back.
It's good in it.
Hey,
I watched the extended highlights. To be fair, like
on CUFC TV.
yeah, on CFC TV, all 10 minutes of them. There's I mean, it's a great goal for starters. McConnell, just good to see him like showing a bit of bravery, I guess, courage. Just clears his feet and then wallops it in the bottom corner, doesn't he? So yeah, we were getting. I think Tom Walker was watching it. We're getting all Tom Walker's kind of commentary through WhatsApp, basically, which was enough. I felt like I was watching the game.
Yeah, Tom was effusive about him. Tom couldn't stop raving about how well he was playing. So I'd take that as a good sign for how he impacted the game beyond the goal.
Yeah. I mean, obviously the other bit of highlights, he contributes really well in I think it's Kajunga's second goal. Can't even remember the little back heel.
Yeah.
I think described by the commentary as a Brazilian back heel, which yeah,
lovely.
You've got to love that, haven't you? But no, to be honest, I mean, all round, as much as we joke about the competition, firstly, it is lucrative in a way. Like the League Cup is the opposite of lucrative. It's categorically not. So I think my position on Vertu is like, first of all, we have a laugh with it on the pod. Secondly, I'm not going to go to any of these games, but I would totally compromise everything I believe in and go to the final. I'm just going to say it now, just in case we make it. Might as well.
I've long maintained that I'd try and keep my stance, stay true to my position when it got to the final. But I think we were talking about this like a couple of years ago. That when we got to the quarters, whenever it was, we played Rotherham, lost to Rotherham on pens. Do you remember that under Bonner?
Yeah.
Anyway,
yeah.
I remember we were speaking about it, and you were literally like almost like slap me in the face. You were like, "Shut up, Jules. You will of course go to Wembley."
Yeah, of course you would.
It's like, of course I would.
I've realised though. Do you know what? We could go, but we could jib in, right? Because then we're not really giving. Because we're not. First of all,
any money.
We know it can be done because it happened famously a few years ago. A lot of people made it. I don't know how easy it'd be to do in a crowd of like 12,000 people. I think that actually
quite
raises the stakes. Yeah. Like, you're not going to be barging through a security gate, are you? Just like one-handed. But I've just got a feeling we get to the final, just jib in, because then you haven't given any money. You're not really there.
Yeah, true. True.
But you sort of still get the fun part. Obviously,
you're not funding the competition. Yeah.
That's it.
Sure.
So if you want to do something ethical, break into Wembley for the final. That's my. Yeah. Hopefully, we don't get like 10,000 people do that now. Otherwise, I could. This could age really. Well, it's like incitement, right?
Yeah,
could age quite badly.
Famously, the secret ingredient is crime.
It is crime. We know that. Yeah, we do know that.
Anyway, look, back to this game for a second, because we both agree on what this competition is, and I also have never been to a Vertu game or under any other guise or name it's been over the years. But just taking Tuesday night, you're playing one of the better not under 21 sides in the division, just by stature, in terms of a team that got relegated from the Championship last year. If you take away the competition, it's actually like quite a perfect night in the sense of plenty of first team players got a rest, plenty of fringe players got games, debut for Hughes in goal, debut goal for Nascimento that we've touched on, Catch scoring too, hopefully trying to work himself into a bit of something resembling some form. So like all in all, if you're going to play in this competition, which obviously we are, and obviously the prize money on top of that, it's a pretty positive evening, really, isn't it?
Yeah, it's pretty good, I think. I mean, obviously take that bit by bit. Great for Nascimento, great for Glenn to get his, bit of a sort of breakthrough first team appearance anyway. First goal for him with the first team. Good to see Catcher, by all accounts, played really well. Like getting his goals, he's taking his goals really well as well. Like it's really a couple of really good finishes. Should hopefully give him a bit of impetus. Hopefully that he carries into the squad. Hughes, obviously, I don't know a lot because we didn't see a lot, but the one save that did make the highlights is a really good one. Like that sort of. It's a real stiff one-armed save, if you know, down at the Newmarket Road end. Generally, like really positive. No one got injured. Everyone came through the game. It's only increased the level of competition in the squad, which is something Harris spoke about in his pre-match presser as well. All of that is just really positive. So, The money is good. I want us to go deep in the competition. We've got a good enough and big enough squad this season compared to other years where it's been like they're all injured. You've got to play like 6 first team players, if you know what I mean. Like right now, the timing is perfect. I mean, again, Harry spoke about McConnell and maybe considering sending him out on loan, but then went on to say, but we've got, 2 more Vertu games coming up. There's quite a lot of like Saturday, Tuesday. So keep him here. And he's got the ththing with Nascimento with McConnell is it's like if he's going to have an impact on the first team squad, it feels like now we're in League Two. And now he's, I don't actually know how old he is. What is he, 21, 22?
20,
I think he's getting on, not getting on, but like getting on.
Yeah, he's old.
Well, yeah. Not getting on like me or George.
So a man double his age.
But, yeah.
I know what you mean. He's not like the kind of like teenage prospect that
it's time for him to, if he's going to be making a breakthrough, and we're in League Two this year, and obviously there's a growing possibility we might be looking at potentially trying to get back in League One. Just got the feeling like now is his moment. Hopefully Harris realizes that, get him in the squad for Saturday, give him an opportunity. I'm not saying anything too high profile. The hope is we 2-0 up and it's comfortable when there's 20 minutes to go, 15 minutes to go, get him on there, as simple as that, because just feel like when a player's got a little bit of momentum and a little bit of something going on and high confidence, they need an opportunity to kind of double down on that. We know from, again, the pre-match presser that Knight is maybe slightly injured. He came off injured at half time. So it's like there can't be a better moment for McConnell in particular to get an opportunity. But same for Catcher, like maybe Catcher possibly works his way into the starting team or at least gets good exposure on Saturday as well. And just like, do it again. Do you know what I mean? Like it's great to do it in the Vertu in an empty stadium, but like, please can you start doing it in league matches? Like we've seen bits and pieces, and he was our top scorer last year. Like we know it's in there. It's like, please just convert that into like a meaningful first team performance in the league, so that you can, earn your right to be in the squad, basically.
Yeah, totally agree with all of that. With Nascimento especially, you're so right about it being the perfect moment, because you can imagine, a different scenario if he doesn't grab this moment one way or another, whatever that looks like. And then we do end up going up this year, potentially. And then suddenly the outlook or the context as a 21-year-old who hasn't broken through next year, a team trying to stay in League One, it looks very different, doesn't it, to now where, as you say, position in the season where with still a pretty favourable run of fixtures, maybe sort of running out a little bit compared to if we were sat here a month ago, but you see my point, and Saturday is a perfect example, exactly as you just said. Like, get yourself in a position where Nascimento can come on the pitch and play the last 20 minutes of a League Two match and try and impact that, and yeah, we're in a great position.
I just think all of League Two are pretty favourable fixtures, by the way.
Fair.
We're just going to be able to say this all year long. It's like, until I see someone that I'm impressed by properly, then I'm just like, they're all just all the games are presentable. I've just realised, like, oh, we've had an easy run of games. Yeah, sort of, but I'm just struggling to see it stopped. You know what I mean? I just feel like it's going to carry on. It'll be interesting to see what happens when we do play. Notts County away is obviously on the horizon now.
Well, Notts and then Salford away is the next.
Salford away is obviously so a tough one. Yeah,
but the crucial point there, which I think this is going to nicely bring us on to Shrews, is like I've not been impressed by anyone that we've seen so far this season.
Well, I was obviously I wasn't on the review, but I was just like, we just played and beaten like another team where you're like, God, they're going to get relegated. But if I keep saying that after games, it's like 8 teams going down. It's like beat Newport, like shit, they're terrible, they're going down. Beat
Cheltenham,
Crawley, like they're awful, they're going down. Cheltenham, like they're dreadful, they're going down. It's suddenly like like 6, 7, 8 teams are going to get relegated based on the eye test. So
I think that's one thing we can say. We're probably going to be safe this year.
Probably.
Imagine
you never know. But we'll get a great Vertu. We'll have like 14,000 people storming the gates at Wembley, relegated out of League Two into the conference.
Me and you doing the preview show from HMP March or something.
That'd be great.
Let's move on to Shrews then, because I think Nascimento is really the headline there for the Vertu. But hopefully he gets a game at Shrews one way or another. Let's start with opposition preview. Jord had a chat to our friends at Salopcast.
Right then, news fans, it's time to find out a little bit more about Saturday's opponents from a Shrewsbury Town fan. Joining us on the pod once again, we have Dan from the Salopcast. Dan, thank you for finding the time to chat to us. Spoke last year in League One. Here we are again chatting, only in a slightly worse division this time. Not been the best of starts for you guys. 23rd as we speak. How are you feeling? What's the story with your current league position?
Well, it's not a Saturday, so therefore I'm feeling quite good.
Yeah.
The problem in my week has always been Saturdays. We're not feeling great, to be honest, Jordan. It's been a pretty horrific 2 years, or certainly year and a half, and it may get better, but the immediate sort of future is one of desperately hoping that we can pull a win out of somewhere because we have found getting results very, very difficult. Michael Appleton is now obviously our manager. Michael Appleton is, of the 92 managers in the league, he has the worst win percentage ratio of any of them, for the managers who've had more than 5 games in charge. So that sort of tells you enough to know how we're all feeling.
Yeah, lots of questions, lots of questions. Let's start with Appleton. I can't remember if he was in charge when we spoke last, or if you still had Ainsworth. I think Ainsworth was in charge when we spoke last, and then
He was definitely in charge when we played at your place. I remember that on that
mm,
horrific day with the weather.
yeah,
And he came over to the fans, and that was one of the first times we realised that the Ainsworth dream might not be all it was going to be cracked up to be. The second game, I can't remember, to be perfectly honest with you. I think he might have been, but it doesn't really matter. That the story was the same, from more or less, Christmas to the end of the season.
mm,
It was a pretty, I was going to say a steady drift, but it was more like a cataclysmic drop
yeah.
out of League One, and we got the lowest points total that we've ever achieved, ever,
We
by 7 points as well. So you can see how bad it was.
Were you surprised that Ainsworth jumped ship and went to Gillingham, or was it sort of on the cards? Because I think
Surprised is
I
probably
think
not.
when we spoke before,
Yeah,
there was talk of a takeover, didn't
yeah.
materialize. I can see there's a headline from a couple of days ago, sorry, from the end of September, saying latest takeover deal collapses as well. Do you think that all ties in?
I think it ties in a lot. I think that and there's two quite different points to be made there. The one is, Ainsworth was clearly promised some money,
Hmm.
or was promised that he would get some money quite soon, and that just didn't happen. And as luck would have it, about a month ago, I was driving back from no, it's actually from our Bromley game. We drew with Bromley, which now looks like a very good result, actually, 0-0. And I bumped into Gareth Ainsworth at the services in Warwick on the way home. He was coming back from Carlisle, not
Hmm.
from Carlisle, from Barrow. And he basically said as much. He says, "Look, this was the future that was planned out," and then it became clear that none of that was happening. So Gillingham came along, and that proved a more attractive proposition for us as town fans. Whilst we get that, it was
Yeah.
all the promises that he made, all of the things he said were going to happen, didn't happen. Now, I appreciate the money didn't arrive, but Ainsworth never said any of that. He just sold us the future, and then saw a new bit of skirt and ran off. And
Yeah.
so there's a lot of ill feeling towards Ainsworth, more because of the narrative than the actual facts on the ground, which we do understand. There isn't any money, and I think there are still takeover stories bumbling around. There are things that are being discussed, but we're not anywhere close to that being finalised. So yeah, Ainsworth not flavour of the month.
What about his replacement, Appleton? Is
Oh.
he? Because obviously there's factors there beyond his control, the take over the money and so forth. But is the pressure on him? Because obviously it is a bad start, and he's accountable for what's going on in the pit on the pitch.
Yeah, well, we haven't won at home since February, Jordan.
Hmm.
And that says a lot. And I, I deliberately want to try and tempt fate by saying sorry, but maybe we will win at home sometime soon. But we haven't been playing particularly well. I mean, looking like we're going to win at home, and inevitably the manager comes under pressure when that happens, and rightly so. His stats are truly dreadful. But what I
Mm.
would say is that he came in last year with a team that was, sort of on the floor. Confidence wise, it had clearly gone. I would hate to have been in that dressing room for the last 3 months of the season. So I'm not going to put that on Appleton's door at Appleton's door. But what I will say is over the summer there was a fair bit of churn. He's
Hmm.
brought in a number of players who've got proper sort of League Two experience, actually. One of our centre halves went up with Doncaster last year. He's brought in players who have been around a bit. And we don't really see much of that on the field, this experience that we're supposed to have, particularly at the back, just has not stopped mistake after mistake after mistake. And in the end, you do wonder, as to the judgment calls that have been made. And, when you've had the run of results we have, then it has to eventually come down to the manager explaining himself. Now, I don't think he'll go anytime immediately, but just 3 or 4 more, and I think the pressure will be fully on.
Yeah. Why do you think you're down in the bottom two then? Is it the style of football that he's trying to play, or is it just underperformances from players, or was it poor recruitment? Because you mentioned some good signings in the summer.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the team sheet now. You've got names like Scully in there. They at their height were great players.
Yeah.
What do you think
Anderson at the back, Stubbs
yeah.
at the back, Boyle from Wrexham. I mean, these are players who've got track records, right?
So what's not clicking so far on the pitch, would you say?
Well, I think there's 3 things, and they're all quite hard to get right. The first one is I still think there's enough of a legacy from last year in that dressing room to really have got far too used to losing. And the confidence in the dressing room that we hope would be revolutionised with bringing in 7 or 8 new players has not happened. It looks like the team has no confidence in itself still, even though most of the team wasn't here last year. So that legacy issue has just not been redressed. And yet, of course, Appleton himself has got a pretty strong record. He's got he did very well at Oxford, he did well at Lincoln. All managers have failures too, but he's not a naive new manager. He knows his way around this stuff. So that's been disappointing, that the team just looks like it doesn't really know how it's going to win a game of football. Secondly, we've got a number of players who just aren't good enough. They're just not up to speed. I mean, the most obvious one, and I guess for opposing fans, this might sound weird, is John Marquis. He scored over 100 goals in professional football. I'm not sure he'd score if he led the line for the Ascot United under-10s, where my two 9-year-olds play. I have so little confidence in him. He looks like a non-footballer. He doesn't look out of form. He looks like he's just never played the game. Now, you don't score 100 goals in the league by being that your whole career. But I've seen enough of Marquis over the last 18 months to wonder if it's ever coming back. He's in his 30s. It just might be that he's got to the end. So he's got a number of players where they are so underperforming that I don't know what you do with them, really. And the third thing is just simple mistakes. We don't score enough goals, but that's it. Lots of teams who are in the bottom half of the table will say that. But we make so many mistakes and we don't come back from them. If you go 1-0 up on Saturday, Jordan, you should be pretty pleased with yourselves because we're very unlikely to bounce back. We've been very poor at that all season. We haven't led a game at home all year.
Wow.
So there's lots of things that have come together there to really spell double dip disaster if we don't snap out of it soon.
How do you reckon Appleton's going to line up on Saturday? What's his preferred formation? Is it 3 at the back?
Yeah, funny enough, the formation is relatively easy to call, but it's a bit of a merry-go-round as to who's in it. There'll be 3 at the back, the big 3 statues, all turn like the QE2, unless they suddenly show that they don't. I mean, their CVs say they shouldn't be as bad as they've been. But yeah, there'll be 3 at the back. There'll be Sam Clucas, player who's played in the Premier League, 20-odd million quid been spent on him. He's going to probably be at left wing back, which I don't really get because he's not an up and down wing back. He wants to pass the ball, and he's there because he can cross it, and because we haven't got anybody else really. The other options there have not been doing very well. So that's it's sort of someone in the wrong position. And then we'll have, I'm guessing, so 4 across the middle with the 2 wing backs. So the Clucas will be on the left. And on the right, it might be Sang, it might be Hull. Both of whom don't really look like they've got the confidence to get up and down as they'd need to and create goals. In the middle, we've got a young lad called Isaac England. He is one to look out for. He's 17 years old. He is the best player we've got, I think, by a considerable distance. But he's 17. So he's not playing every game, but I'd be quite surprised if he didn't play on Saturday. He can keep the ball. If he's on the team sheet, there's a modicum of hope. If he's not, deep breath time. I don't know how we're going to keep the ball. Then we'll play 1 in the number 10, which might be Marquis, which is like, the world's worst decision ever. And then there'll be 2 up front. One of them, Cabier's on loan from Arsenal. He's a bit of a Saka wannabe, and he is by far and away our most interesting attacker, but he's got a tough job on his hands because he doesn't get the ball very often. So I think we'll probably be something like that, three, in that sort of shape. But it does in terms of personnel, there's a fair bit of rotation.
And how does Appleton approach games at home? Does he try and take it to oppositions, or is he more sort of play on the counter? How do you think that will be on Saturday?
Well, I think that's an interesting question because we've got to be fair. There've been a number of occasions this season where we've been reasonably okay until the opposition has scored.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so for the first half, in a number of games, we tried to keep the ball a bit, and we are trying to keep the ball a bit more than we did last year when we did basically never kept the ball. We just hoofed it. So there is a degree of possession in there. He likes to play through the thirds, or at least he did. The last game, certainly at Harrogate, we were just oofing it. We'd gone to sort of Wimbledon in the 1980s. But I think at home, he'd like to keep the ball a bit more and try and get those wing backs into the game so that Klukas, in particular, can try and get some crosses in. So it will be a bit possession orientated. The big danger comes if we don't score because something goes wrong then and we don't seem to come back.
And how do you think Saturday's going to pan out? What's your prediction for the game and a score?
Well, it was Albert Einstein that famously said, definition of madness is to keep doing the same thing and expect a different outcome, right? So given that, I'd be a bit bonkers to be very confident. So I would expect it'll be a reasonably grim game, and Cambridge will win by 1 goal. But football teams do sometimes win when they shouldn't. And we've been saying that for a while and it's not happened. But it must happen at some point, right? So I'm going to predict 1-0 Cambridge. Safe in the knowledge my predictions are usually wrong. But the record this season says that it's a safe bet to go down that route.
Terrific. Well, I'll take that result. Thank you very much, Dan. Thanks for your insight. That's brilliant.
No worries. Speak to you soon.
Thanks very much, Jord and Dan there. Shrewsbury. Let's start with them, Caspell. The vibes are not very strong at Shrewsbury right now. Quite easy to forget that a team that got relegated with us last year, they were like the whipping boys last year. One of the only teams we did the double against, if not the only team. That's just off the top of my head.
We can't have done it much.
It can't have been.
I mean,
this isn't a very good.
Think of the away
podcast.
Think of the away wins.
Well, Crawley, but we lost at home.
Did we beat them at home? That's
No.
it.
Okay.
Right.
Well, look, we've got the rest of the pod to figure it out, but I'm definitely one of one or one of two. But at the moment, it's not getting any better. I just wanted to read you this stat that
Hit me, come on.
a Shrews fan. So Michael Appleton is like clinging on by the skin of his teeth at Shrewsbury. This is from, I think this is actually from before the weekend, but they drew 0-0 at Barrow on the weekend, which sounds like one of the worst football matches of all time. At Shrewsbury, Michael Appleton's record reads 19 games, 2 wins, none at home.
Ooh.
If you go back to his spell at Charlton just before that, 12 games without a win for Appleton. So he's now won two games in 31 as a manager in the last season overlapping into this season. None at home. Shrewsbury haven't taken the lead in the league all season.
Shit. Honestly, I felt quite confident, but now you're making me nervous. Wait, so when was Michael Appleton's last home win?
Right. Well, do you want me to fill while you find that, or what?
No.
I don't know.
Jesus.
But because he didn't at Charlton, so it was 3 jobs ago for him. If that makes sense.
Mate,
This was last job and the job before.
I don't know if this is a Cambridge United thing or if this is every fan would say this about this club, but we love picking up teams off the floor when they're in the worst situation you could ever possibly imagine. I think still I talk about this game probably 4 times a year on the pod. It's that Kidderminster home game the year we got relegated. It was like they hadn't won an away game for like 2.5 years or something.
Yeah. Well, what about Rotherham last year?
Well, Rotherham last year, the same thing, right?
They hadn't gone away in like 700 days or something.
Yeah, something ridiculous.
Yeah.
And then it's just like, there you go.
Have that one.
Have that. So now you've said all of this, some stuff feels quite inevitable. Like when Shrewsbury take the lead in the first 10 minutes or whatever.
Yeah. It's also a team that we've got like a pretty good record against of late. I mean, we there was that 5-1 that we lost up there. If you remember when May got sent off?
I think May got sent off. Iredale scored.
Yeah, that's right. Right. Yeah, that way around.
And then Mackenzie Lyle.
Mackenzie Lyle, yeah,
Yes.
we were talking about this.
How can we forget Mackenzie Lyle came on, just started. Well,
but in the
still completing a dive now, I think. Yeah.
In the 4 games we've played against them since then, we've won 3, drawn the other one, which was at home. So we've won the 2 aways that we've played up there.
I've just somehow
one
never
under
seen us
Harris
win.
as well.
I've never seen us win there.
Have you not?
It's just good for the omens, isn't it?
Brilliant.
I didn't do I think I was doing the in-law duty for one of them, the one that we won more recently under Harris. Harris first spell. Did Lyle Taylor score?
Yeah, Lyle Taylor scored. Yeah, we won 2-1. Yeah.
What a guy!
What a guy!
And Kai scored in one, surely like a few years ago. We won up there like 2-0, but Kai in his first spell for us scored up there in a win, I think, for sure.
I remember a really late equaliser that Kai scored.
Or maybe it's an equaliser.
Anyway, which I think is what you're talking about.
You've never been there. I've never seen us win there. They basically haven't won a home game forever. Appleton hasn't won a home game. They haven't taken the lead in a home game. It's just like
2-0 Shrewsbury.
2-0 Shrewsbury. Stinks of it. Absolutely stinks of it.
I'll tell you this. I'm pleased that they didn't lose at Barrow last weekend, because then they would have sacked Appleton.
They would have chopped him, you know.
Yeah. And I think the one thing is, like, clearly this isn't going to work, Appleton at Shrewsbury. So you've just got to hope that instead of them being due one, that they are just a simply terrible football team. On this note, though, we come into it in pretty decent nick. Like 2 home wins, obviously that brilliant away clean sheet at Tranmere. How big an opportunity do you think this is to keep the pressure on? And like, let me sort of ask it a different way. How do you want Harris to approach it? Not how do you think he'll approach it? How do you want him to approach it?
Look, I mean, it's obviously a good opportunity. Again, we're playing one of the worst teams in the division. It feels like there's a lot of worse teams in the division. But based on form alone, they're definitely that. I mean, you sort of weirdly think with Shrewsbury, you guess they'll get rid of Appleton either way, come what may, what happens at the weekend. Just sort of feel like, without knowing a huge amount about their squad and what situation they're in, surely they'll just sort themselves out and they will finish like 15th or something. Do you know what I mean? Like, so I'm not saying a draw would age badly. I just don't think, I think a draw doesn't feel great, but when you look back at it at the end of the season, as long as you're surrounding these like away draws with home wins, it's fine, right? Like, we're just accumulating points, we're just not dropping points in any of these games. We are just chugging along, taking points. So I do think
you won't feel like that 5 p.m. Saturday, despite it being quite a logical answer. I'll tell you.
No,
that.
probably not. But and it certainly didn't feel like that up at Tranmere either. I mean, how I want him to approach the game, I just think like they've got no confidence. So it's one of those where we just got to lay it on them. But I just feel like this about most of League Two anyway. It's just like, go there and put our own stamp on the game, and don't be as cautious as we were at Tranmere, and take it to them a little bit. Like, all jokes about the Vertu, were just beaten comfortably as well, beating Luton at home. Have a pop at it. They're the last thing you want to give them is any kind of momentum or hope or anything to cling on to. Just feel like if you can go there and get yourself an early goal, that might be enough. Like, you might actually just break them with an early goal. Home crowd turns. He's definitely getting sacked. Do you know what I mean? It's like, just got to go there and just like, feels like a game that can be won in the first 20 minutes if we actually go and just lay it on them from the outset. And also, I know this goes so against the Harris narrative, if that makes sense, but it's like, if you do go out there and you take you dare I say, you play 2 up top again, because it seems to actually be the right thing to do, as most of us have been saying for quite a while. So what if you go 1-0 down? Back yourself to roll over this like atrocious football team that is in front of you. Like, really doesn't matter if you go 1-0 down. Because you just got to back yourself to have the attacking talent and the, I guess the spirit to come back into that game and just go and get the goals. So I don't think, all of what I've just described is what I don't think will happen. But I just think you said it earlier as well, we're in such a good moment and we're having such a good opportunity for ourselves. Like, we are on good form. Win this game, and then you go and it's that Bromley home game next week, and you're like, God, we could be looking at like top 3, as in we could be occupying like top 3 or 4 of the division on an actual streak of wins. We still haven't put together back-to-back league wins, obviously under Harris since he returned. Now is the time, right? I just can't think of a better opportunity to do it than now. You're going to tell me Harris won back-to-back the first two games?
The first two were back-to-back. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, all right.
But
this season, I was saying this season then.
Yeah. Yeah, look, I totally agree with all of that. And I think the other thing we should actually be backing is how good we are at the back. I mean, all the numbers say we're the best defensive side in the division. So what I mean by that is like free up the extra player to be an attacker. Start two up top. You're totally right. Win the game inside half an hour. You're telling me if we're like 2-0 up inside half an hour, you're backing this Shrewsbury side to be able to come back from that deficit?
Harris, look, honestly, it's like, and I know we're making it sound so routine, but it's like, get your lead, even 1-0, and then you can just you can make the game as boring as, you know what I mean? It's like, Neil, just go at it for half an hour, and then you can close the game down. You can make it like the Tranmere game. Don't let them generate even any XG. Like, that is quite impressive. It's impressive in quite a boring way, but it's like, if you're sat on a 1-goal or even a 2-goal lead, as dangerous a scoreline as that can be, it's just like, fine, like get a 1-goal lead, get a 2-goal lead, and then draw the life out of the game. That's like perfect away performance is exactly that, right? So Harris will approach it differently, obviously. Like, clean sheet will be the big mantra for sure. I don't hate it. Like, if we keep a clean sheet now in every game the rest of the season, we'll almost certainly get promoted. So I sort of see the logic, if you know what I mean. Not sure if we're going to keep a clean sheet and score 7 goals every game, which is what Harris said he wanted in the press conference.
The other, like, and this just sort of goes back to what we were saying about the division as a whole, but like in the short term, talking about this game as an opportunity, we've got Shrows away, Bromley at home next week, and then back-to-back aways in the league, with the cup in the middle, I think, which is Notts County and Salford.
Yeah.
Bromley, obviously, small team, but by all accounts playing much, much better than what you might expect of, a team like Bromley. So I do kind of, in the short term at least, look at Shrows and just go, just win the game. Like, just go and win it. Just make sure you win that game. While you're right that if you do come out of it 0-0 and we're having the same conversation as after Tranmere, and there'll be something to be said for that in the long run, as you just said, clean sheet every game, you probably get promoted. I don't disagree. In the short term, I just think this is the opportunity where you get your first back-to-back win. You put a much poorer side than you to the sword away from home by approaching it in an attacking way and having it wrapped up by 30 minutes, 45. And it's just as simple as that. Let's run through the presser. Kai should be back this weekend. Only a short-term thing. Ball, if not this weekend, then definitely next. Just a little knee niggle. Knight probably out this weekend, as you mentioned earlier. Tight groin forced him off at half-time on Tuesday. Appare's outlook is much better than they'd initially anticipated by the sounds of it. Scan results weren't known during the presser, but he is on the grass and
OTG.
Potentially he's OTG. He's potentially
not in the pet rest just yet.
No, not yet.
That's a Labrador. That's a Labrador joke, mate. Yeah. It's a Labrador joke. Don't worry. Of course, he's on the grass. Labradors love that.
Labradors
he's just running around all over the place. Like, Louis, get back here! Just running away. Of course he is.
But he'll potentially be ready for Bromley. I've got to say, speaking of these injury updates, I really recommend you going, if you're listening, going and watching the presser, because Harris's opinion on medical science continues to be one of my favorites.
It's just so good.
There's a point.
So good.
I don't want to quote it because I won't get it perfect, but he's asked about Corey Smith playing this weekend, and his answer is basically like, "I'll just ask Corey if he's all right."
So good.
Corey, how'd you feel? He's like, "How'd you sleep?" or something like that.
Yeah, honestly, it's like that. Also, like, to be fair to me, he's done it pretty well this time. He's sort of, there's always a funny look on his face when he talks about like return to play protocol.
Yeah,
just like that, the whole approach sums up the difference between him and Monk so much. Because do you remember Gary Monk just talking about the return to play and like wouldn't do anything adventurous that he wasn't allowed to do, yeah. Whereas Harris is much more cavalier, just like I'll just do what I want,
Yeah. If Michael feels like he's ready to play, he'll play. Fair enough. I love it.
That's it. Yeah.
With all of that in mind, Caspell, how would you see him line up?
Oh God, this is quite. Do you know what? For the first time in quite a while, this feels quite hard to do. If you know what I mean, because we have got suddenly. I'm just not used to having a squad this available with this many players fit. Like hardly anyone's injured. So what do you do with that? What do you do with it? God, I mean, I've banged the drum again. I'm obsessed with the idea we should be playing 5-3-2 anyway. But I'll park that for now because I just don't think it's going to happen, if you know what I mean. I was obsessed because it solves so many of the problems that I think we have. But I think he won't do 4-4-2. I think I would do 4-4-2. I think I'd get as close to that Crawley team as you can, basically, to be honest. Not just because it's really easy for me to answer it that way.
I think it's that. Maybe Purrington for Bradshaw. It feels a bit harsh on Bradshaw, not necessarily because of his performance, but I don't know.
You say that, but Bradshaw was pretty involved in conceding the goal, which is, if you know what I mean.
On Saturday, you mean?
On Saturday, the Crawley goal. It was all through his department, if you know what I mean. I'm not saying that's not a criticism. It's just...
what I'm saying is I don't think he played particularly well. And I'm not saying dropping because he didn't play particularly well. I just think maybe... I think there's some logic in just bringing Purrington back in for this game, to be honest with you.
I wonder, though, if you're going to do that, if you want to maintain a bit of attacking impetus, then Gibbons also sits out and you have Bennett instead. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because you're like, I don't want... Well, after Tranmere, I just don't want the two negative fullbacks who won't cross the halfway line with a double pivot centre midfielder, because you're just like, oh, good. So when we're attacking, we're going to have like 6 blokes and Eastwood back. There's going to have 7 people in our own half every time we go forward. It's just like...
That's a fair point.
Brutal to watch. So it's hard on... The thing is now, and this is a good situation to be in, and this is a sign of a team that's showing like playoff, dare I say, auto possibility, like credentials, is this is hard. Like, he's going to have to actually leave... People are going to be left out who don't deserve to be left out, even of the entire squad, if you know what I mean. Like, you got people like Rossi, who's played really well on Tuesday by all accounts, played really well at Fulham, who will not make that squad based on what we know about all the, the fitness of all the players. You just think, God, it's absolutely brutal, if you know what I mean. So
bench is going to look strong.
The bench
on there, like...
It probably will be Smith. I mean, that's the only change. These are the only changes you might think that could be made. Is like Bennett could come back for Gibbons from Saturday. Obviously, Purrington, Bradshaw. I think Morris and Watts Eastwood is a lock, if you know what I mean. And he spoke really positively about all the defenders, frankly, on the presser. I think Mpanzu's definitely like a lock. The question is like the McLaughlin Smith thing, I think, is a bit of a possibility, if you know what I mean.
I know we just joked about his attitude to medical science, but I don't think I still don't think he'll want Smith to go from the off, having started Tuesday. But I do think Smith is a real option off the bench, a bit like Crawley. Come on for the last top 5 or 10 against Crawley, right?
Yeah.
I wonder if maybe that builds him up.
He's a good player. You'd be a great... I mean, again, you say the bench would be really strong. You'd be a great player to be able to introduce. I mean, when Apre is back fit, we're going to be looking like super strong. I think that's the only sort of gap I think we have at the moment, is you don't look at the bench and we've got like an obvious out-and-out striker that you might be able to bring on if you needed to.
But I wonder if, like, he might look at Kai as like that option to bring on for Lavery and like drop him in like ever so slightly deeper, but centrally, which we've seen Kai play that sort of role, like floating in behind a striker. It's like that kind of 9 3/4.
9 3/4.
Yeah, that's what he referenced Kachunga as, isn't he?
Did he say 9 3/4?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Last week's presser.
On the Hogwarts Express, mate. Yeah, that's it. Oh my God. Look, mate, it's great. I mean, it feels like all those years we had in League One, which are obviously great and enjoyable. We just had so many injuries and so many, like, I think we did so many preview pods where the whole team just basically picked itself as like, that's all we've got. So
yeah,
it's going to be that, isn't it? Like, no like imagination, no creativity, no like thought process about, oh, we can do this, that, and the other. No sense we'd have a strong bench with any possibility. It just tells you everything about the recruitment.
Yeah.
Yes, we got a little bit unlucky with injuries, but it's like, my God, we really dug our own grave on the injuries as well, if you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
This time around, it's just so much different. So, yeah, it's a proper selection headache for him. It's a really good situation to be in. I wonder if he starts Kai and he drops Kouassi. He just goes one up top with Lavery, and do you know what I mean? I think that feels more likely to me.
Interesting. The lack of physicality up front, though, doesn't scream. I don't know, though. Yeah, he's done it with Apre. Isn't exactly the most like physical, despite he's very athletic, but striker. But yeah, that's an interesting shout.
It's one of them. There's all sorts. There's a lot of different combinations of starting 11 that could happen. And I'll be honest, you wouldn't be. This will sound crazy, but even if you, let's say, didn't start Lavery, you wouldn't be like, what's he doing? Do you know what I mean? You'd be like, oh, but we can bring Lavery off the bench if we need to. All the plan is that we don't need to, and we're just going to give him rest. You know what I mean? It's crazy to think. I actually don't think there's a single player in that first 11, and this is a compliment, not a criticism, that I'd be like, oh my God, why has he dropped this player? Because we've got so much good squad capability right now and fitness. You'd just be like, oh, great. Like, he's given Job a start, or do you know what I mean? Like, you could get on board with almost any decision that he makes.
Maybe Kachunga. I know he scored twice on Tuesday, but maybe Catch might push it. Yeah.
If he drops Lavery for Catch, then
that might push it.
There might be some that would test that theory. I think.
I tell you what, though, if he's ever going to do it, playing Shrews away, having just scored twice on Tuesday, it would be the time. Though.
Actually, don't.
What's your score prediction?
God. How do I clarify this? I'm bottom of my Moosenet division, so I think the only things I've got right when I realised Jord had become some kind of. In fact, should we just call Jord?
Yeah.
Like Jord, predict, quick, predict. What's going to happen? See, what I need to do now, and maybe I'm in my own head, is there's a thing that I think will happen, and I need to just ignore that. So I think we're going to win 2-0.
2-0. Nice.
Because that's not what I think is going to happen. If you know what I mean. I
think we might smash through them. I'm going to go like 4-0. Proper
4-0.
toxic. Yeah, I think we're going to roll them.
Oh, what I've put in my moose. I've got 0-0 in my moose now, which is the thing that I haven't. This is the thing I have in my head.
Yeah, that would
not
be
again. Not another one.
Good point away from home, though, Caspell.
It would be a great clean sheet.
Well, let's wrap it up there. It's yourself, Jordan, Tom, I think, on the review show Saturday, so you can hear your reactions to a 0-0 draw in Shropshire.
I told you.
Yeah.
I told you.
Thank you for listening. Obviously, Coconut Tier members, good luck in the draw for the hospitality tickets. If you're not a Coconut Tier member and you want to become one, you want access to all that sweet content, just head to undertheabbeystand.com. and you'll find it on there. It's on there easy. Subscribe now, £5 a month. The price of a pint helps the pod keep running, and obviously you get a lovely bit of extra content and entered into the draw. Obviously, thank you to the Old Spring for being our sponsors. You know all the deals by now. They're over on our website if you need them. And thank you very much to Caspell.
Go get a skepasti.
Yeah, do it. So that's the longest it's taken for a skepasti to be mentioned in a pod all season.
Has to be.
It's got to be a bad omen, though. Oh, no.